Okay, so the Durst organization is one of the oldest family-run commercial and residential real estate companies in New York City. They own more than 13 million square feet of office and retail space, 3 million square feet of residential rental properties with 3,400 rental residences. That's a lot of property. So they are also the owners and they run this US debt clock, right? They even have a page on X where they make a lot of cryptic posts. And this happens to be one of the posts that they made. And I was looking at it and I was like, I want to decipher this. So right off the bat, at the top, we have elevation. Obviously, that means ascending. And at the bottom, it says, rise up out of the old world. Immediately, I thought of Elon Musk and his tweet with Trump saying Novus Ordo Seclorum, meaning New Order of the Ages. So this post is blatantly New World Order propaganda. But let's zoom in. So the first thing that I noticed were the 8 planets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And as we all know, there's 8 planets in their fake solar system. But what I find odd about this post is that they have Earth as the 4th planet, when in their fake solar system, Earth is the 3rd planet. The 4th planet is actually Mars. And I've talked about Mars and Elon Musk in plenty of my other videos. So y'all should already be aware that Mars is where the elite plan to go. Not the red planet Mars, but the actual land of Mars. So if Mars is the 4th planet, then you should consider this right here to be Mars. And it has an X on it. X marks the spot, meaning that's where the eagle is going to land. The eagle is the national bird of the US. So if it's going to land here on Mars, this would be considered the eagle's nest. Now, what seems really odd and displaced is this here picture of Atlas. This is a sculpture of Atlas for those of you that don't know who I'm talking about. It's just funny that they put Atlas in that photo due to the whole 3-eye Atlas situation, which I told you guys in my previous video, there will be an alien agenda in 2029, which will eventually usher in this new world order. But one interesting fact that I learned about Atlas is that he is said to have invented the celestial sphere and astronomy itself. And I was like, what's a celestial sphere? Well, this right here is a celestial sphere. And if you zoom in, doesn't this resemble this depiction of the known lands, aka Earth, and the outer lands? As you can see, there are 3 layers. 1, 2, and then 3 here inside Earth. We also have 3 layers on the celestial sphere. 1, 2, and 3. And right here, we have the firmament, which is what is enclosing us within this realm. But then above that, we have this word right here, which I couldn't read, so I put it in ChatGPT to tell me what that said. And that layer is called crystallanium, a kind of glass-like layer. Crystallanium actually means made of crystals or resembling crystal in appearance, which I thought was fascinating because in Admiral Richard Byrd's diary, he mentions how he traveled to the South Pole, aka the ice wall. So if he would have made it out of this entrance right here, that would have brought him to the Ancestral Republic, which I talked about in one of my previous YouTube videos where I told you guys that the people of the Ancestral Republic were humans that actually escaped from the known lands during one of the resets. So they actually hold ancient, valuable knowledge. But in Admiral Richard Byrd's diary, he describes this city made of crystals. Right here it says, in the distance is a large shimmering city pulsating with rainbow hues of color. We were then boarded on a small platform-like conveyance with no wheels. It moved us toward the glowing city with great swiftness. As we approached, the city seems to be made of a crystal material. Crystal city that he discovered actually be the crystallanium layer, meaning he actually escaped the firmament by going through the passage at the ice wall. And then at the top here, you have this layer called empyreum. The etymology of that word literally means fiery or fire. In ancient Greek cosmology, it is considered the highest heaven, the sphere of pure fire, and considered the dwelling place of gods, angels, and pure fire. So if empyreum is supposed to represent the highest heaven, why would it be made of pure fire? If you watched this video on my YouTube page, I start decoding the Bible. I came to the realization that one of the gods mentioned in the Bible is not actually the creator God, but yet a demiurge. And in the Bible, it talks about the lake of fire, and how that is a place for destruction and punishment for the wicked. But if the demiurge is actually evil, and wanting to trap humanity into blindly worshiping it, then that would make sense for that demiurge to make humans afraid of fire, when there's a possibility that fire could represent the highest heaven, meaning ascending past this material realm, this material 3D prison that the demiurge trapped us in. That would correlate to this video I made on my YouTube page stating that hell could actually be filled with ice. If you guys know about Dante's Inferno, the ninth circle of hell is actually where Satan resides, which happens to be the layer that is covered in ice. Here's another depiction of Dante's Inferno's layers of hell. And as you can see, Satan is here in the ice realm. Actually, it's a dome. And I told you guys, we are in a dome, a firmament. But if Satan is also there, then we are within this realm with him. The creator of Dante's Inferno also made this picture right here, which represents his viewpoint of the pathway to heaven. And if you can see right here, it says where earth is, it also says hell is. And once you make it past the firmament, you are then in the Empyrean, the highest heavenly realm, the fire, which I believe represents access to all of the other realms. Now back to decoding this picture. At the top of the eagle, we see a crown. If this eagle represents the elite, then the crown represents them flaunting their crown chakra being unlocked. The crown chakra is the highest chakra, and it is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th chakra, meaning it would correlate to Saturn because Saturn is the 7th layer. Now, when The Economist magazine dropped this cover predicting 2025, they displayed Saturn here at the crown of this face. I say a face because you see the mouth right here, nose right there, and the eyes, another eye right there. So Saturn would represent the crown. And another odd thing is if you count all of the points on this magazine cover, it equals 33. And the elite love to use that number 33. 33 is the age that Jesus died. And if Jesus had reached Christ consciousness, then that would correlate with the crown chakra. And awakening it is believed to allow one to access divine energy and wisdom. Now, when we look at the United States of America, you see this giant A going through it. This actually represents the eclipse that took place over America. As you can see, the eclipse is over here. And I knew these eclipses were important because a lot of things were happening during these eclipses. CERN starting up their particle accelerator, NASA launching rockets. It was all very just ritualistic. And The Economist magazine of 2023 predicting 2024 actually showed this eclipse, meaning it was part of the agenda. As you can see, the eclipse right there. Now, the last thing I want to talk about with this photo is the constellation going across of America. So this is just my opinion, but this constellation right here resembles Virgo. This constellation right here resembles Leo. So I decided to search what is the relationship between Leo and Virgo. Well, the Sphinx is sometimes considered a symbol combining both Leo and Virgo, representing duality. And guess who else represents duality? Baphomet, symbolizing the harmony of good and evil, male and female, light and darkness. As you can see, the female chest, male arms, as above, so below, night, day, duality. So back to the importance of this Sphinx, or Virgo and Leo being combined. Well, the term Sphinx and cherubim are related. Cherubim were based on ancient Near Eastern winged sphinxes or similar composite creatures, such as the Lamassu. The Lamassu are this, which come from the Mesopotamian culture. We have the Sphinx of the Egyptian culture. Then we have the Sphinx from the Greek culture. And then the cherubim from the Bible. What do all of these creatures have in common? They are considered guardians of thrones, palaces, and sacred places like the Garden of Eden, meaning they would be guarding the North Pole, where the Tree of Life would have been located, which was an entrance and exit out of this realm, as well as the South Pole, which is the ice wall, an entrance and exit out of this realm. So those constellations represent to me the guardians that are keeping those that have not reached their crown chakra from entering other lands. And if you look at this depiction, the moon is the first layer that is blocking paradise. So in this sense, the moon would be the guardian. And there is a theory that the moon is actually a device to capture human souls after death, preventing them from moving on to a higher state of being. This idea is often tied to Gnosticism, where it said that souls are lured to a false light, possibly to be trapped in an endless cycle of reincarnation and memory loss. And that would make sense for the demiurge to do that, wanting us to be trapped within this realm with it. Now that the frequency on Earth is starting to rise, since everyone is starting to realize the truth, they have to try extra hard in order to keep us in the matrix. Now, all of a sudden, there are two moons. If the moon soul trap is correct, then that would explain why now they're trying double as hard to keep us in this reincarnation cycle.